Online Racing. This is season 17 and this is round 4 and it's another Tier 2 Tuesday. I am Tim 360 Lerner and this is all brought to you by our lovely Patreon members. So please do sign up and you can get involved and you may even get a shout out on the stream from time to time as well going forward. But that is the plan. Apologies if anything at home is sounding a little bit strange. For some reason I have got no sound coming through on my end whatsoever, but it is showing on the stream that you guys are getting sound, so I do hope that everything is fine. But do pop it in the chat if you're thinking to yourself, why on earth can't I feel anything? So that was why there is a slight delay to the beginning of the stream, but we are here now and qualifying is well underway at the moment. Maudsley for Team Parker Racing currently set the benchmark at a 1:28.6. And he's actually down on his time this time round. Let's have a look here now. Amir is on an absolute flyer at the moment though. Last time round was a 1:29, but he was up on his time significantly, so we will stick with the Formula Racing League Ferrari for just a minute, number 789. But yeah, for some reason, lost all of my sound on everything. Can't hear anything through my headphones, can't get anything to come out of the speakers. So a bit strange. So it's going to be a bit of a quiet stream for me, but hopefully not for everyone else at home. As far as I'm aware, it should all be absolutely lovely for you guys at home. But yes, slightly odd. So continuing on at the moment with qualifying. Just under 10.5 minutes left to go. Some still people out there putting big improvements. Amir coming towards the line now, jumps up to 9th position. Let's jump on board with Piccolo, running the RSGT and P1CE. That is a ridiculously long name for a livery, but puts himself up into pole position. Fantastic, a 1:28.252. We've also got Benjamin King for Lion Speed X Herberth. Currently running in 3rd place on the grid. Just seeing that, somebody saying apparently the stream is normal. Fantastic. It's just me that's sitting in silence, which is really quite a strange thing to do, watching all the motorsport going on, but not being able to actually hear anything. So sticking with the Porsche at the moment of Benjamin King. Although actually he's lost a lot of time there, I think through that chicane. We saw him a big old track cut through there. Let's see who else has big improvements. Let's jump on with one of the BMW CRF Racing Team, car number 33, currently running in 22nd place. This is Nani, half a second up on his lap, so this should see him rocket his way up the order. At the moment, 26 cars within a second of each other, but still plenty of qualifying left to go. It's going to be interesting to see how these all close up. Big old bounce through the first chicane. And it sort of works in one of two ways. You either get an absolutely fantastic speed boost out the end of it, or you lose an absolutely huge amount of time, and I think it was more the latter this time round. It's a case of trying to get the traction to go back down. We'll be to stick with him for the minute. Let's jump on inside the car. You listen to that lovely BMW. It's a slightly, not quite as intense as some of the other car sounds, but it is a lovely sound. You always get those lovely turbo flutters. The lovely sound of the boost releasing out every time you change gear. So still running in 26th at the moment, but flying towards the line now. We shall see what we get as he comes across. So it was in 26th. No improvement this time round. I think that was a case of maybe lost a little bit of time going through that chicane. Proton Competition. Car number 39. This is Catalin. Absolutely flying at the moment. Massive improvements. Still over half a second up on the lap. A little bit slow there though. Through the hairpin. We certainly should see an improvement. 35th position. I think we'll probably see a nice improvement. Oh, and a big bailout on the last chicane. Bit of a mistake there. And that's a real shame because they were seriously up on their time. Let's jump on board with somebody else. Right, on board with Urbanech now. Car number 46 for Varek Remzink TYM. Car number 46 running in 10th place. Up on the lap there, there should be an improvement as it comes thundering towards the line. Up into 8th place, a little improvement, but every little bit counts. So on board with Skyless at the minute. In fact, actually, Skyless has lost a lot of time and it appears to be abandoning the lap. So we won't stick with them. We'll stick with Jones, though. Jones for Jones' team. Big old jump there. We saw the Aston Martin's doing really well here last night. A very predictable car when it comes to the curbing, depending on setup, obviously. But a couple of drivers there in Tier 1 really making the most of the way that the Aston drives, doing some really good stuff here last night. So be interesting to see if we have the same kind of cars up the front end. The Bentleys as well, doing very strongly. The only sort of mid-engine car that was right up there at the pointy end of the field was Giardier in his Honda. So it should be interesting to see how it all goes. I'm not sure we're going to see much of an improvement here. Sticking with Jones for just a little bit longer, though. Oh, and very wide on the exit, trying to obviously run the speed. This should be an improvement as long as it's been within track limits. So it was 23rd, finds us up into 21st position. And we've seen Jones fighting out right at the very front before, so we would expect to see improvements still coming. On board with Lima as he comes across the line now. With the 10th place, squeezes inside the top 10. Here we go, and so now we are on board with Misak. And in fact, let's jump proper on board with him on the dashboard of the thundering Bentley. Through this extended turn 2, all the way around, double apex, absolutely flat out, then hard on the brakes, thrown into turn 3, bit of inside curb, run it all the way to the outside without going into the gravel. You lose way too much exit speed if you do that. Now down towards the chicane, and you get an idea when you're sat here inside the car of just how formidable the curbs are. Big strike over the first, over the second, little bit of a bounce. That looked fairly clean and tidy, to be fair. There are blue flags out at the moment. I think that's more for the car in front, though. Continuing on. Cuts through the second chicane as well, but keeping it up together. He is still improving on his time. This will be flat out again, maybe the slightest lift just to stop himself from washing out wide. Over the crest, down towards the hairpin now, hard on the brakes. Just as tiniest touch of inside curb, and then all the way out to the outside edge. Using that painted surface. Luckily there's still a fair amount of grip out there, and he's still improving. He's 0.2 up on his lap actually. This should be a nice jump up, should get him inside the top 10. Through the final chicane, he's got slowing cars in front of him, but he is still improving. A little bit raggedy on the exit, but 0.3 up on his time. So we'll see what happens as he comes across the line. Up into 4th place, a massive jump up the order. He'll be really pleased with that. And so jumping over to Mr. Jones. It's one of those things I always forget about the Aston Martin is the fact that it's got these 2 giant great rails that run up in the middle of the windscreen. It's one of the reasons I really struggle to drive the car. My eyes continuously get drawn to the rails. Oh, possibly not the best line there that time round, although he is still well up on his lap time. So maybe that sort of a less aggressive through the first curve and more aggressive through the second is really working for Jones here. Throwing it in, just about keeping the car together. Time's pouring in now. Very low 128 has been set by Lynn in the GTR, so very impressive stuff there. This should be enough to actually put Jones on pole if he can hold on to it. He's flicking around 0.3, maybe 0.2 of a second up on his lap, so it's going to be impressive to see what can happen here. Skyless as well, just a little bit further up the road, is improving at the same time. So this is going to be a last effort to get across the line. He should get another couple of laps in after this, but this is probably where the tyres are absolutely at their best. Up into 2nd place, he'll be very pleased with that one. Very pleased indeed. Jumping back on board the Bentley. It is up on its lap time by 0.3. This should be the pole lap if he can get it absolutely to the line and if this was a clean lap. Here we go. Up into 2nd place, just on the back. And actually Lynn has improved again with 127.7. So drivers out there still improving across the board. Jumping on board a little bit further down the grid at the moment. For Big Brain Racing is Athenstad. Running in 24th place at the moment in the number 11 car. Lovely livery on this piece of machinery, it has to be said. throwing it down towards the second chicane, I believe. No, it's not. That was the final hairpin. Different camera for some reason. Slightly different camera. Completely threw me off guard, to be fair. Right, now coming up towards the final chicane. Hard on the brakes, swinging it in. He's still just about up on his lap. But actually, no, he's lost time during that final chicane. He'll get another chance to go round, though. In fact, he might get another 2 out of this. It's a 1:33. That's a crossing the line. Drivers crossing the line around now are going to be coming onto their final laps, though. Jumping on board. Zoric up on his lap time at the moment. Currently running in 27th position. Okay, he is the last driver to be, well, the first driver to be just outside of the 1 second difference between the front of the grid. You can see a massive amount of cars. 26 cars within a second of each other at the moment. Zoric, I'm not sure if maybe lost a little bit of time there as he made his way through. Mr. Jones has put himself in pole position. Jones will be very pleased with that. We'll flick back towards that front end battle because Lynn is still improving out there as well. Zoric should get one more chance at an improvement. See what happens here as he comes across the line. Nothing this time. Right, jumping on board with Lynn in the Zeeble Football League in the wall. Nissan GTR. A very, very quick bit of equipment, this, and it's lovely to see the GTR still absolutely at the front end of the field. And obviously, that is due to the custom BOP that we are running here at Apex Online Racing, meaning that these older cars that have been left to the wayside by the in-game standard parts performance, our custom BOP means that these older cars can still come back. Hence, the Bentley is here as well. It's absolutely great to see. So can we see an improvement here? No, we don't. Doesn't improve there. He's got 1 lap left to try and do something about it, but we'll see what happens. Nani on an improvement as well. A couple of drivers still out there trying to improve, but Nani coming towards the end. This will be his final lap. The timer has got to 0. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Hopefully, he can get it done. A little bit washy there, though. I think there is still an improvement, though. Was running in 11th. Comes across the line, and he's up into 3rd place. Gets himself up onto the 2nd row of the grid. He'll be very, very pleased with that. Zoric, as well, coming into the final chicane now, is up on his lap time. Currently running in 28th position for Evolution Sim Sport, but coming across the line with an improvement. Oh, and sadly not. It looked like there was going to be an improvement. I guess it was an invalidation, and I think a bit of frustration there you can see as he pings the car into the wall as he comes home. Trying to see if there's anyone else out there. Djokic, who we just jumped on with their 34th position. Trying to see if there is anyone out there still improving and lapping. No, it seems like most people now are back to the pits, or anyone that is still out there isn't currently improving on their lap time. There was a brief moment when Piccolo looked like he might be improving. Jumped on the drone cam for the moment as he comes across the line. So he was in 11th. He obviously thinks there's an improvement there. 6th place. It was a big improvement right at the line. Goodness gracious. Didn't even show up as an improved lap on the timing screen. So very impressive stuff there. Managed to get it done. Right. So qualifying is now done. In just a moment, we will be able to throw up the results of qualifying. But for now, let's quickly run through the championship as it stands. In fact, no, we'll leave that to when they're on the outlap. Let's go for it. Let's try and get this working nicely, because we've actually managed to get into where we wanted to for the first time in a long time. Where is a nice shot? What can we get? Drone camera 2, camera 1. It's kind of cool. We'll go with that. Right. Pole position is Jones. 2nd place is Lynn. Nani in 3rd. Misak in 4th. Urbanech in 5th place. Piccolo in 6th. Southcott 7th. Schroeder in 8th place. Maudsley in 9th. Let's go to a different camera because that's doing my head in. Benjamin King rounding out the top 10. Right, continuing on. Zetek 11th. Arlavi 12th. Skyless 13th. Kazantis in 14th place. Ordelman 15th place, Amir. 16th, Door. I'm not sure if he is actually still the... What now? Forgotten the name, but he's part of the community. He's a big part of the AOR community. I can't remember if he's the coordinator or not for this tier anymore, but I would have to double check afterwards. I think he's not this time round. Anyway, Paula Lima in 18th place, Matthias in 19th place, Ben Milden down in 20th place, Azami 21st, Athenstad 22nd, Skugel in 23rd, Bodakis in 24th, Anderson in 25th, Chirich 26th, Lefosh in 27th, Zoricic in 28th, Leishout 29th, Sheckham in 30th, Oliver Braun 31st, Zyle in... Yeah, there we go. It's been confirmed. Dor is the coordinator for Tier 2. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Dor, for your service. Much appreciated. So, Zyle in 32nd, and Paul Sims rounding out the grid in 33rd place. So, actually, I think there's more cars here this evening than there were for Tier 1 last night. So, should be pretty impressive stuff. Everyone managed to make it through Turn 1 last night. But we'll have to see what happens, and fingers crossed it goes as well as it did before. I really wish you could get this nice camera shot to start a bit further back, but you can't. It just slowly pans away, getting further and further away from the cars. Should be pretty soon. And so now we have been through the main grid. Let's actually look at what's going on in the championship. So, championship standings at the moment: Jones leading the championship with a whopping 232 points. Kazantis second place with 167. Schroeder in third place. Southcott fourth. Belscheit in fifth place. Lynn in sixth. Delubra seventh. Benjamin King eighth. Nathaniel Shirley ninth, and Robert R. Larby in 10th. And in regards to the teams, Gremson Argonauts 2 currently leading the championship. Quadi Racing with 176 in second, Weeb Bros in third in the championship. So, all still to play for. Still very early on in the championship as well, to be fair. There's still a lot of races left to go. Obviously, still another 2 rounds after this one. So, it should be some pretty exciting stuff continuing on as we go. Still, I am plagued by a complete lack of sound. It is horrible not being able to hear anything. This is really strange. I don't know what is going on. Something somewhere has changed, and I've suddenly got no sound compared to last night when I did have sound. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm probably going to have to tear the PC apart this evening and try and work out what's going on. But very soon we will be starting. They'll be beginning their formation lap. Let's have a little bit of a look. Look over the rear wing of Jones. You can see how far the cars stream back through. Lots of cars at the back still haven't moved. I've just seen that someone says Steam has recently had an update. I wonder if it's updated possibly automatically overnight for me. There's been an issue then, so I will have to have a look. I didn't want to completely restart my PC just before this stream, just for the sake of delaying it even further, because I didn't notice I didn't have any sound until I was about to go live. For some reason, my brain broke. Really great to see so many cars, so many custom liveries. Moment Jones on the outlap, so people will be trying to generate heat into their tyres as best they possibly can. Trying to get those temps up a fair bit. So jumping mid-pack at the moment. Kazantis in the Lexus. Be interesting to see how the Lexus goes here. We didn't get to experience that last night in Tier 1. So now in Tier 2, it'd be nice to see how that car holds it together. Lovely shot now as their cars, for the only time this evening, running quite sedately down towards that first chicane. You can see just how many cars there are and how much of the circuit is filled by these wonderful pieces of GT3 machinery. Jump back a little bit further. You can see them now streaming through the chicane. I would say that basically a third of the circuit is covered by cars at the moment. Just pretty much nose to tail as well. There really isn't much between any of them. As always, gotta get the Chirich livery out there, the Love Live Nico Yazawa livery. I am a sucker for an anime girl livery. It is fantastic. It is ridiculous. It's over the top. It's pink. It's got spots. What more could you want? It's fantastic. And it's on a Porsche as well. It seems mildly inappropriate that it's not on a Honda or a Lexus, but I will forgive them for how great it is. Right, so cars speeding up a bit now, getting themselves into side-by-side formation as they head towards the line. In fact, you can already see cars making their way up towards the final chicane while cars are still stacking up. So Jones has got a little bit further ahead than maybe he wanted to there, but now stacking themselves up, cars absolutely bunching nose to tail. Last thing you want to do is be out of position for the start, but we now make our final roll towards the line for our start of this 1 hour race here at Zolder. And the lights go green and 1 hour racing begins, and already a great start by Nani, looking to the inside, gets it maybe done at a braking, yes he can, rummages his way through. There's positions changing as well in the background. Very close together. Looks like there's been a bit of, there's been a big incident, I think, right back at the start, to be fair. I'm not sure what's gone on there. Lots and lots of yellows all the way back at the beginning of the race. We're not going to go to replays. We might post-race have a look at the replay and see what's gone on there, but lots and lots of cars towards the back of the field have obviously had a big old incident, so hopefully most people made it through. A little bit of argy-bargy going on as they go through the first chicane, but it seems to be reasonably tidy. Azami, I think, was one of the first cars in this second pack of cars that we've seen. So the grid's really broken up. It's quite strangely broken up, to be fair, just because obviously that incident that happened mid-pack early on in the race. Jones already starting to pull away. Lynn very much under attack from Misak at the moment. The Misak missile. Lovely Bentley. See cars pouring their way through the hairpin. And the first batch of cars has made it through pretty well unscathed. Have to see how it goes on with that second batch. Car number 74 leading the pack of cars a bit further back. We'll try to jump to that, and that is Jokic. And the front end of that car looking decidedly battered and bruised, so, well, actually, to prepare, even the sides of it are looking decidedly battered and bruised, so I'd be interested to know what actually happened there. In the background, little battles starting to heat up as well. Zao looking to the inside of the turn one. Can he do anything here? Team Ghost, black BMW, currently fighting it out with Belshite. Can he do anything? And he does. He goes all the way around the outside. It'd be interesting to see if he can maintain that kind of pace. We've got Lisku as well, looking to make grounds in the background, but I don't think they're going to be able to do anything quite there. Car number 189. We've just seen a yellow flag out for the 189. So hopefully far enough into the race now to be able to see what's going on. We're going to go back 30 seconds. So pretty sure that was at the first chicane where we've seen an incident. He's running along behind the Porsche at the moment. Cars stacking up a little bit in front of him. And what happens here on the brakes? Makes contact with the Porsche and then gets bumped from behind as well and was rotated round. Multiple cars having to go completely evasive. And he got himself proper stuck there in the corner. Just looked like maybe braked a little bit too late, and then after the contact maintained braking to try and avoid any further incident, and then also was collected from behind as well. Obviously cars not expecting others to be slowing down maybe quite as much as they did. Benjamin King now running in 10th place. Southcott with the fastest lap of the race. So that Porsche now sporting some rear end damage. See how that goes. See how the Porsche can survive. Looking at it, looks like maybe it wasn't that big of a bump. And it was just a case of ACC deciding that it was absolutely drastic when it really wasn't. Right, battle's continuing on though. Southcott now looking to try and make a way past Lim. You can see that Southcott already has the fastest lap of the race. So he obviously is feeling quick. The suspension on that GTR looks very softly set up, and this side looked very bouncy through there. Oh, little moves going on in front as well. We've got Nani versus Misak. Ooh, all things going in different directions at the moment. It looks like a fairly decent run though by Lynn. Can he make a move on Misak as he comes towards the hairpin? He seemed to get a far better exit from the chicane. And he's definitely close right up, being pushed forward by Southcott as well. He knows he cannot afford to slow down, and all the while Jones is absolutely running away with it. Escaping up the road, trying to find some room, trying to make a little bit of breathing space so he doesn't have to go defensive at all. Continuing on, car number 707, just seen with a yellow flag as well. Where is car number 707? That is Anderson. He's saying he's out, so I think he has left the server 707. No, he's still there. So why is 707 showing up as out on my time record? Very strange. He is still there. I think there must have just been an incident that happened at some point. Seeing someone in the chat as well cheering on number 789. So let's find 789. Car number 789. I should know this probably better than I do. My brain is broken. I do apologise. It's been a very long day. Car number 789. Can I even see car number 789? Oh, there we go. Amir. Yes, Amir. Fantastic. Yeah, currently running in 13th place. Unlucky for some, but at the moment he seems to have himself in some nice clean air. So fingers crossed. Can keep this one together. He's got Skyless and Kazantis in front. Those two are just about starting to squabble it out as well. So as they squabble, they will slow and they may slowly drop into the clutches of Amir. They look a little bit skittish there, leaving that second chicane. The car didn't look overly stable. We're going to drop back to a slightly more hot battle going on. Got Ben Milden for Sector Blitz Racing being chased down by Lima and Dor at the moment. And that was a good exit, to be fair, by Lima. He really caught up with the back of Ben then. He should have maybe an opportunity to go to the inside, down towards the final chicane. He looks, but bails out of it, obviously deciding maybe to go for a slightly later move. And in fact, you can see as well, we've got Athenstad as well involved in this little battle. Lots and lots of cars all starting to heat up. We're going to look over the rear wing of Ben Milden's car as they all come flying towards turn 1. Now turn 2, the double apex. Who's going to be better through here? The Lambo looking very poised. Still just about holding it together. Just about holding on. Sorry, I've got weird audio errors going on in my ears, so apologies if I do stop talking at any point. It's all very strange on my end this evening. But for now, Lima unable to attack and a little bit slower there. It was a very brave run through there by Milden. He really held on to it as best he possibly could, and he is carrying a lot of pace at the moment. But let's jump over to Athenstad, who is at the back of this pack in the roaring Ferrari, flying up behind Dor at the moment, and this might be an opportunity to pass. He's got a slight bit of overspeed. He did look to the right hand side. He now looks properly to the right hand side under braking. And as well, looks like Lima may be trying a little bit of a move. Went to almost go around the outside of Milden, but wasn't able to. And he now looks to the inside at the final chicane. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? Watching it from on board at the moment. No, he isn't. He's still sticking where he is. Obviously trying to make sure that he does get a pass. It is done nice and safely. But now Athenstad, really good run on the Mustang. He should surely be able to get down the inside under braking now. A big move to the inside. Dor giving him the racing room, and through they go. Zetek just jumping into the pits in the back of the shot as well. We can see Piccolo is now set the fastest lap of the race. So quickly jumping on board towards the front end again. So now Jones is still leading after that absolutely fantastic qualifying. Nani is not far behind him though, and is really closing in. The gap coming down a lot. In fact, it's come down really quickly. So Jones isn't even down on his lap time. It just sort of weirdly seems that actually now he is starting to drop off the time a little bit, time board showing it. But I think it's a case of just the two drivers behind, Nani and Misak. Misak way up on his lap time, so they are speeding up behind Jones. So what has happened to Jones, I'm not entirely sure. You can also see that Lynn has dropped down behind Southcott as well. But at the beginning, it looked like Jones was really going to fly away with this one. I mean, his qualifying was really quick. Maybe it's a case of he's got a car that can do really quick laps, but it's not quite as consistent. Looking at his lap times there, did a 1:29 last time, and in fact, yeah, he was significantly down last time round, a 1:29.08 compared to a 1:28.8. So a good 2 to 3 hundredths of a second slower than Nani last time round, and Misak has dropped off the back of them just enough that it has released Nani to sort of go full attack on this. In fact, Misak was down on his time quite significantly. We've also now got the option of possible back markers as well running in front. This is where it could all get a bit dicey when you start getting back markers involved as well. Obviously, they will, you know, most likely give room to the leaders, but they do not have to go offline and brake. They just, you know, aren't allowed to defend, so you don't have to give up your race just for what's going on behind you. And again, you can just see how strong the BMW is through there. Being very brave with the old track limits, but pretty interested to see if this can maintain for much longer. Everybody in the top three now down on their lap times. Squabbling beginning to show, just starting to slow themselves a little bit. Jumping back to a little battle going on. We've got Djokic versus Sims versus Ordelman. As well, we've got Belshite as well, hanging on to the back of them. All four cars squabbling their way through the circuit, all fairly close together. A difficult circuit to pass here at Zolder, to be fair. If you're going to do it, you've got to be pretty brave. Try and get the car up the inside, under braking, make it work, see what you can do. Into the final chicane again. This now really stacking up. Djokic gets proper sideways though, and that has left the door open. Djokic is almost certainly going to lose it, and he is now being passed just by Belshite. Going to try and go around the outside. Don't think he's going to be able to do it though. Ooh, side by side, and we also saw one of the other cars going off. Just about holds on to the position though. Ordelman absolutely wringing the neck out of the Aston, trying to hold off another Aston. So it really is a case of who's got the best setup and who is the better driver. There's nothing that can be put between the two cars. We've got two Mustangs squabbling it out in the background as well. In fact, we've got quite a bit of squabbling going on just back here. And this is Zyle, who's got Crichton up his inside. Just manages to get across for that first apex, but that was super close stuff. I don't think if Crichton hadn't backed off ever so slightly then, I think there would have been a real proper mess. A couple of cars we can see have already completed their mandatory stops, so Arlavi, Addison, Lafloche, Skugel and Bardakis have all completed their pit stops. And just seeing someone that's joined the chat, and I'm saying a little bit late, yes, there was a big incident lap one on the start line. We didn't go back to it, but we are going to have a quick look at it post-race, just to see if we can spot it. Oh, Nani coming into the pit. So surprised to see Nani into the pit so early. Yes, lots of yellow flags. The field basically got split in two. It was a bit messy, but we didn't see what caused it. So we won't cast judgment quite yet. It might not have been anything too obvious. Right, continuing battles now a little bit further up the grid. So Ben Milden has managed to break away slightly, but Dorr now looks to the inside of Affenstad. Can't quite get it done, but he is now applying the pressure. Maudsley in the Bentley Carnival 117 has now set the fastest lap of the race. Dorr very much looking strong, looking to attack. Probably a decent old jump through the chicane. And what can he do? He's got Zorich. Zorak. Brain is broken this evening. Zoricic chasing after the back of him, that 175 Aston Martin. And after being right on the back of Affenstad, he is now actually dropping away a little bit. Ben Milden, it's going to be said, is really starting to pull away. He is up on his lap time as well, obviously finally broken away. And just starting to pull away from Lima that little bit, giving himself some breathing room. Right, let's have a jump back up to the front where things are starting to heat up. So it's now Misak running in pole position. Jones all the way down in third suddenly. So something has happened there. But we did see Jones slowing, and he now finds himself down in third and being absolutely swamped by drivers around him. So it's now Misak, Southcott, Jones third. And then obviously we've got Lynn chasing after the back of him now. So what has gone on with that Aston? It was looking really strong earlier on, and suddenly we find ourselves sort of a dwindling car, and I'm not entirely sure why. Right, Maudsley is having a good old battle. Fastest lap of the race by Maudsley. He's also now got... And there's lots of change going on. What car am I even looking at? I've lost the plot. Obviously, I am looking at Maudsley. Yes, I am. That's fine. 117. And he was having a good old squabble with the Porsche in front of Schroeder, but that has appeared to have opened up as well. Every time I cut to a battle, it suddenly seemingly ends and moves away. I'm commentating, cursing myself. Right, Oliver Braun's got Jokic right behind him. And Sims as well, just sniffing around the back, trying to close up the gap, see if they can make anything work. Bunch of cars in the pit. Azami, Mathiasen and Leishout all in the pits. I think actually they are retired to the pits because they haven't got any laps compared to everyone else. Just starting the 10th lap of the race now. We stick on board for the minute with this nice little battle that is slowly heating up. It's getting there. Might be a little something into turn 1 if they can make it happen. The Porsche significantly better on the brakes than the Mustang was there, and that gap does extend out slightly. Right, Ben Milden, who had pulled away, now finds himself under attack again from Lima, and Lima getting a really good run. Is he going to have enough of an overspeed to possibly get side by side towards the first chicane? He definitely is. In fact, he gets his nose in front completely. Whether that was a case of Milton backing off ever so slightly, maybe looking to get a better run here, and he's got much, much greater exit speed as he comes down towards that second chicane over the first crest. Can he do anything on the brakes here? Not quite. So for now, Lima has taken away the position, and he's already starting to open up the gap. I think the fact that he had the, sort of the optimum line going into that second chicane probably did help. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone can actually close it up. Alderman, I've just seen, is going slow. Why was Alderman suddenly going slow? That was just after the first chicane. I think we can only imagine he's bounced his way through there. And the car has got all sorts of out of shape. Jumping over to a different battle now. Sims being chased down by Belshite. This is a nice heating up battle. Ferrari for Rinaldi Racing being chased down by Belshite. And it's a look to the inside. No, it's a bit of a dummy. Tries to do it, but he is now forcing number 19 to go a little bit defensive, and that will only slow him down further. Now, can the Aston get a decent run up towards turn 3? Had a bit of an overspeed, but not enough. And way out into the gravel. He's not going to be able to get a decent exit with that kind of gravel driving. It is not a rally car at all, the Aston. So, let's see what he can do through here. Can he get a decent line? I think the gap is just starting to open up that little bit again. So we've got a fair few cars have now pitted as well. Lots of people going for fairly early pits. Still another 42 minutes of the race left to go. So plenty of time for things to heat up and change. And we've actually now got battles going on just inside the top 5. So Lynn currently being chased down by Schroeder, Maudsley, Urbanech and King as well. Everyone's starting to stack up. Sorry, I appear to have a little bit of a frog in my throat this evening. So, down towards that first chicane again, you can see the Porsche having a little look to the inside. Schroeder just seeing if he can do something. Not quite this time, but the GTR got very skittish then. It did not look like it was going to be able to come out of that corner in a straight line, but it somehow did. Porsche now goes to the outside under braking. A little bit of contact. Unsettles the Porsche big time. Ends up going round. We'll sort of have to see what the stewards say on that one, because that was definitely a case of... has definitely gained an advantage by going off track at that time. But obviously we'll have to see what the stewards say. We will not cast too much judgment. Don't even really know what kind of penalty you could put on that, as they were side by side. But obviously that bump then completely unsettled the car. Realistically, that was the only option he had there, was to open up the steering and sort of let it go through. But yes, definitely an advantage gained by sort of taking that little bit of a shortcut through there. Oh, here we go. So we've got and they've gone off wide. Let's jump back 10 seconds, see if we can catch what's going on here. So down into turn 1 this is. BMW number 33 goes to the inside. And I don't think car number 46 really saw him coming. And cut back across towards the apex. And that's 2 positions lost now for Urbanetch. Benjamin King starting to climb his way back up through the order after the incident that we saw earlier on, where he got that little tap in the final chicane. No, sorry, it was this first chicane, wasn't it? It wasn't the final one at all. So for the moment, King holding on to the position. We'll have to see if he can do it again, because the McLaren's got a really good run. He's going to look to the inside. He's going to have to go around a long way here and then get on the brakes. Can't quite get the nose in. And King maintaining the position for now, but it is looking mighty close between these drivers. I think the only person that's got any breathing space at the moment is Misak, who's got a 2.4 second lead. Actually, no, looking at that, it's 2.6 now. It's extending even further. Moving around. Let's see what we can find as well. Right, so Dor is still squabbling it out with Zoricic. Oh, and there's a little squabble going on in front. Ben Milden now fully under attack. And this is Athenstad trying to go around the outside. What can he do here? He's got to be super brave on the brakes to make this work. Not quite able to, but he should possibly have a better exit speed here. He looks to the left-hand side. He does have an overlap as they come down towards turn 1. He's got to be pretty brave on the brakes to try and do something. Ben is keeping his foot absolutely planted to the floor, trying to maintain the Mustang. They're going to be side by side as they come through turn 1. Little bit of paint trading. Dor as well now right on the back of Athenstad, looking to take advantage. Still side by side as they come through turn 2. Athenstad ends up washing way out wide. Dor able to sneak through, but he hasn't got it done completely. He now looks to the inside. Dor does take the position. Great bit of opportunistic driving there from Dor. Gets himself up at 1 position. And I imagine Athenstad is probably kicking himself, although now he looks to the inside at the chicane. It's going to be super brave. I don't know if they're going to make it through that time. But they all did. Let's actually jump to the... Let's jump back and see if we can catch that on the helicam. Get an idea of how tight that was. There's a little bit of a rub and a bump. I think it's about as tight as you could possibly get. That was absolutely incredibly close. And the only one that really won out of all of that was Ben Milden, who has managed to now open up his gap a little bit while everyone else is squabbling behind. So from being on one of the aggressors and pushing forward, Athenstad now finds himself in the clutches of Zoricic. Keep an eye on this front battle as well. Jones is managing to hold on to that final podium position at the moment. Skyless, Kazantis and Lima all into the pits. Obviously, some people feeling it is advantageous to pit that a little bit early, buying the track position. Lots of drivers saying yesterday about the fact the early pit stop to get yourself empty track space was really important here at Zolder. And as you can see, the overtaking is super difficult. Even if you've got a good run, very difficult to try and make something work. And in fact, now Jones finds himself really being pushed by Piccolo. Oh, and literally pushed as well, physically given a nudge there. How on earth they didn't end up rotating the car, I have no idea, but Jones managing to hold on to it. I imagine he was furiously sawing at the steering wheel, trying to keep that thing in a straight line. Just seeing in the chat, apologies, I've missed quite a few people, a couple of people saying hi and everything, so thank you ever so much. Mini Simeon, who is a firm, long-term member of the Tier 2 chat, asking, has the Bentley had a recent power boost? No, it's all down to that balance of performance. It's all done looking at the hot stint times. Everything gets edited, so we add weight, lose weight. Oh, we've got car number 911, which... Where was car number 911? We saw them earlier on. I'm trying to find them on the list. That was with a yellow flag. That was Sheckerman, and that's a very battered-looking car. So this is the second chicane. And he's got Belshite right behind him. What happened here? Oh, all on his own. Big crash. And that car took an absolute beating. And that's a real rough spot to try and rejoin as well. You can see he's trying to get the car turned around, staying off the racing line. I can do a bit of a three-point turn. And does get the car re-going. But that does not look good at all. So yes, custom BOP is all done by Apex Online Racing, so it doesn't use the standard in-game BOP, which is maybe not updated as often as it should be, and has also left a lot of the older cars behind. So this newer custom BOP allows you to keep the old stuff going, hence we have things like the Bentley, hence we have things like the GTR, all inside the top 10. And it's custom for every race as well. We don't just use an overall. It's adjusted every single time for each circuit to make sure that it is correct for each and every circuit. Because obviously some cars have a huge advantage, top speeds and things like that, and some cars obviously have an advantage when it comes to cornering. So the idea is to try and keep them as close as possible. Lynn and Maudsley into the pits now. And I believe that is Dorr just leaving the pits. I think 917, that is Dorr who's leaving the pits, so he finds himself in amongst the front end battle. So currently finds himself running in amongst some very fast boys. He's got still very fast drivers behind him as well. Try and make sure he's especially as the coordinator, he'll have to make sure he's maybe not impeding anyone's racing. It's always a bit awkward if you're the one that's causing problems there. Oh, and Nani running in 25th place. The BMW has picked up a drive-through penalty, and that is going to be for track limits infringements. So we had seen him really chasing after the back of Zoricic, but turns out that might be why he's been able to close up the gap. He's just been a little bit too brave with the track limits. They're pretty slack here anyway. But yeah, drive-through penalty, and that is exactly not what he is going to want. Right, the front-end battle still rages on at the moment. Misak in pole position, followed by Southcott, and then Jones running in third place, our final podium position. He has been under pressure from Piccolo for absolutely ages. He has been applying the pressure, looking for a mistake, and it has to be said that Jones is really doing a good job of maintaining composure under this amount of pressure. After there's sort of a random slow at the beginning of the race as well, he really dropped back off the pace for a few laps. So whether that was a case of maybe going through the for a bit of a graining process on the tyres, maybe just push that a little bit too hard early in the race, and then just had to let the tyres cool back down slightly. Not entirely sure, but he seems to have picked up the pace reasonably well. Still down on his best lap times by quite a long way. His best was a 1:28.8, and his last one was a 1:29.9. So over a second slower than his best lap. And now this is starting to really heat up. Piccolo right on the back of him, sniffing around the back, looking for that advantage, jumping inside Piccolo's car now. He's coming towards it. Oh, and Piccolo obviously deciding to go into the pits. One of those moments where you've got to be super brave on the braking and get yourself in there. You don't want to lose too much time, but obviously you have to be careful, as the braking zone is actually much later on the circuit if you're going into the pits than it is if you are then continuing on racing. So nearly saw an incident there could have been a bit choppy. That really could have been choppy, but I'm managing to hold it together. Right, having a look back here. So now, Lynn versus Maudsley. Maudsley has set the fastest lap of the race currently with a 1:28.5. See, around this midpoint, half the fuel has been burnt. There's no refueling allowed in these races, but there is one mandatory pit stop. So these drivers that have pitted are now running on brand new set of rubber, so they will have better grip. They're running less fuel than they were at the beginning of the race, so it usually tends to be in this second stint that you do see these improvements. Lynn is going to be one of those drivers to keep an eye on as he is flying his way around. Same as Maudsley, to be fair. They'd almost be smart to not battle too much and see if they can gain an advantage over some of their competitors. And seeing where cars are going to come out of the pits, kind of a 3-1-6 of Southcott, who is already out of the pits, and so if anyone is going to try and strike, it's got to be done pretty quickly. Lynn just about breaking away from Maudsley now. So Southcott is currently running as our leading pitted driver, but Misak and Jones are in, and so is King. So I think this is going to be maybe a bit of one to keep an eye on, is whereabouts those drivers end up leaving the pits. And we're going to jump across to... gone Southcott. Right, we're going to jump on with Southcott for the moment, who finds himself running behind Crichton. Crichton has not pitted. This is still technically for position though, although, oh, off wide goes Crichton. Whether that was intentional or not, I'm not entirely sure, but Southcott currently our leading driver that has pitted. See where these drivers are going to be coming out, who has played it smart, who has gone a little bit further. And just seeing in the chat as well, people asking about the new AC Evo that is going to be coming out. Honestly, don't know at the moment, haven't discussed it yet. I don't imagine that ACC is going to go anywhere particularly quickly, as it's still the official game of the GT World Challenge. And obviously where AC Evo is a mixed game of different things, I very much doubt it is going to be the official one. So it'd be hopefully ACC is going to stay around for a bit longer, because it's still a great looking game, still provides us with absolutely fantastic racing. But yeah, it might be a bit interesting. See what comes up in the future. All things can change. Oh, Jones having a real good squabble in the background. Let's try and catch that battle going on. Jones actually has lost some more positions, I think, during the pit stops. He didn't give up the position to Piccolo, although Piccolo's got a really good run. Big defensive move there from Jones. He now has the inside line for the beginning of the second chicane. Little bit of a rub between the two of them. Still side by side. Another little rub between the two of them. If I say little rub, that was quite a decent old ding between them. But yeah, Jones now is running as our fourth placed pitted driver. So still got some cars out there still left to pit. We've got Urbanech, Milden, Zapata, Lisiu and Crichton still to pit. Oh, big move to the inside, and that has sent Mr. Jones absolutely flying off the circuit. Let's see if we can spot that again. We'll go to the helicam for this one. So this is down towards the hairpin. And you can see a little bit wide there, I think, from Jones. He has lost a little bit of pace. So then what happens here towards that final chicane? We can see Piccolo looking to the inside. It's a big move under braking. I think that's going to be a case of maybe going to the stewards on that one, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure that Piccolo was ever going to get that car stopped by the apex. It looked like he went pretty deep. Jones didn't really have much option but to start to turn in at some point, so... But not my place. I am merely here to yell at what is going on, not to cast judgment on people. Oh, kind of a 998. That's Benjamin King. He's off with a yellow flag. What's happened here? So he currently was right up the back of Lynn, applying pressure. Two absolutely fantastic liveries on these cars. So what happens here? This is down towards that first chicane. Looks like he's almost towards the outside. Are we going to see a dip to the inside? He brakes hard. I don't think he can get the car stopped in time, and Lynn has an incident, and so does King. Both drivers moving out the way, reversing back to try and avoid any further incidents. Lost a lot of positions there. Both drivers came out pretty bad from that one. They'll probably both be quite annoyed and upset by that one, as I don't think it was an intentional bump whatsoever. You can actually see Ben did try and move himself off the racing line, trying to almost leave the circuit, but wasn't able to get the car slowed down in time. Right, so up near the front end still. Waiting to see what happens here with once the timing board sorts itself out. So all change at the front. So we've now got Misak, Southcott, and then Schroeder are pitted drivers that are leading the sort of after the pits. Zapata for Gerard and Fest Esports still hasn't pitted at the moment, but leading on the roads nonetheless. So then we've got Misak in the Bentley, Southcott in the McLaren, and Schroeder, who's had a really good race actually. I think it was maybe third row on the grid. He started to find himself up in fourth place at the moment with 25 minutes left to go. That's a really good effort. Obviously Jones still there behind. He's got a back marker between them as well. So no super close battles. This is probably our closest one. Zoricic versus Belchite. Evolution Simsport versus Falcon. Again, well, obviously identical cars other than setup and the person behind the wheel. So it's going to be interesting to see how people can go. Can he do anything here? Can he apply enough pressure to get a mistake out of Zoricic? I genuinely don't think that unless he can make a move, I don't think Zoricic is going to break under pressure. He's, we've seen a lot of driving from him. Doesn't tend to give up incidents too easily. Chiric just seen in the pits. No, I think we've lost Chiric because he's showing up as 10th place, but he's definitely not in 10th place. That is Amir in 10th place. So Amir gained quite a few positions after that incident we saw earlier on. Amir doing really well actually, up into 10th place. We'll be pleased with that one. Oh, big bounce there from Zoricic. So after saying I don't think he'd give up the position too easily, I think actually now this could be a case of he's got no choice. He's now got Belchite up the inside, and he does decide not to try and go side by side through there. It's a position lost, so Belchite now takes over 17th place. Zoricic down to 18th. Piccolo, obviously still chasing after the back of Jones, finds himself now being chased down by Maudsley as well. Oh, car number 54, we have just seen a yellow flag out for them. Car number 54 scrolling through the great big list of cars. That was Crichton, and I think they have left the server as I'm unable to select them. So obviously retired from the race. We saw a yellow flag up. We didn't see what happened there. That was a very bouncy exit there for Piccolo. He lost a lot of speed, and the Bentley has a lot of speed to give. Although somehow headed onto it. Car number 915 as well, we have just seen with the yellow flag. Try and grab car number 915 as well. Put them up on the screen, see if we can find it quick enough. That was 915. Oh, it's moving around the timing board. That was Lafloche. What happened there? So this is through that first chicane. Big bounce. See the way the back of the car just never regains the traction and rotates round. As we have to be really careful with when you're sort of using these optimal lines where you take a big old chunk of curb. You have to be really sure you've got the suspension set up just right, otherwise you'll end up doing things like that. And losing a lot of positions as the car bounces its way down. Right, back to this battle. Maudsley versus Piccolo really is starting to heat up between these two. Obviously, we saw a slight mistake from Piccolo last time round as we exit that first chicane. We're coming round to that part of the circuit again. Skyless as well, starting to apply the pressure. What's that first chicane? I think it's the exit is going to be the real telltale here. Nice and steady and flat through there that time. Got the car under control. He'll be able to go slightly defensive. Is he? No, he's sticking to that main racing line. He is not taking a defensive line yet. He is trying to maintain the position through absolute speed. But now to the inside goes Maudsley. He gets it through. Just leaves enough room for Piccolo. He does dip a tyre onto the grass. Don't think he was forced out there physically. It was more a case of maybe just felt a bit worried about causing an issue. But through he goes, powering on forwards at the moment. Maudsley gains the one position over Piccolo, and Piccolo is going to be desperate to not lose another one. He has got Skyless already on the back of him, smelling blood in the water. He is going for it now. It seems almost right there, almost correct that they're sort of a car designed around a shark originally, the BMWs, back in the day, is sniffing around the injured seal that is Piccolo at the moment. He's dropped that position, and sometimes it just takes that one little mistake. Hugo Zapata finally comes into the pits. One little mistake and it opens up and can cause a cascade of issues, although he's still really attacking the back of the Bentley. And I'm not sure if maybe in trying to push that hard, he's now finding himself, again, you can see the way that every time on this part of the circuit, the McLaren does seem to lose out a little bit. BMW to the inside, they're side by side. They're really side by side. Some big old argy-bargy between the two of them there. And it was a little bit of a late move. God, I thought we were going to see even more than I thought we were going to see Piccolo getting to the front of Urbanech then. Just about avoiding each other. I think that one will definitely go down to the stewards between Skyless and Piccolo. Right, so Amir in the 789 being chased down by Lynn and Benjamin King. Say Amir gained those, managed to take advantage and gain two positions when Lynn and King came together. But to be fair, Amir doing a good job keeping the two behind him. He's really keeping himself pretty honest here. We're going to jump onto that rear wing of the Ferrari, sitting just above that lovely Ferrari engine, wailing around the circuit. You really could not get three cars that were more different. You've got the mid-engined Ferrari, the front-engined GTR, and then the rear-engined Porsche. So it is lovely to see all the cars being able to battle out so well. They have opened up ever so slightly as we're still looking over that rear wing of the Ferrari, but that's a decent run. A really good run through the chicane, although we might see something under braking here as they come into the second chicane. Can anything be done? Not this time round. Lynn starting to apply the pressure. Amir is not braking to it quite yet. He's maintaining a decent defence, maintaining fast lines. He's probably almost certainly hoping that Benjamin King is going to slow down Lynn a little bit. So battle for second place is definitely starting to heat up now. About Southcott versus Schroeder. All kind of a 707 we have just seen with the yellow flag. And that is Anderson who's returned to the pits. Let's see if we can catch what happened. Oh, so that must have happened a fair while ago. So that is just after the first chicane. So what happens down at the second chicane? So we went back 30 seconds, so we should have been able to see the yellow flag. Just drive straight on into the gravel, so I think that's a case of retirement. If Has he not gone his way this evening, or maybe a technical issue somewhere with his setup at home? I'm not sure, but calling it a day. Right, battle continuing on here though. Skyless versus Piccolo, and then Urbanech as well. So they got together pretty hard, only a lap or so ago. But they are now continuing to squabble it out. 16 minutes and change left of the race as we speak. And Urbanech applying the pressure to the back of Skyless. He'd be looking to try and find a way through. Oh, car number 189 now with the yellow flag. See if we can grab that. I have a feeling that is Robert Arlavi. We'll jump back and see what happens here. So he's having a bit of a squabble down the pit straight. He's got a BMW to his outside. What happens here? Is it a case of contact, or is there a mistake on his own part? Who knows? We're watching. Oh, and it was a coming together with the 33 car of Nani. I think it was a case of 2 into 1 doesn't go. And racing drivers famously not good at maths when it comes to that little bit of math there about the 2 into 1. Because they try and do it all the time, and it never works out. You will never squeeze 2 cars into the space of 1 car. Maybe on the formation lap, when you can sort of, you know, phase in and out of each other, that's fine. But when it comes to the main race, that is it. You just have to accept the fact that sometimes there might be a car there. Right, battle still going on here. This is the battle for 7th place. Urbanech applying the pressure. Piccolo's managed to break away from this little pack of these two. Well, they've been squabbling it out. Urbanech applying the pressure. He wanted to try and get past, get himself up into 7th place. Skyless doing a decent job again of maintaining the position, trying to hold it off as best he can. I thought there was suddenly going to be a move here at the front, but I think it was just the timing board throwing a wobble with the people that are in the pits. So apologies for cutting away from that battle for a minute. Urbanech versus Skyless. This is the one to keep an eye on. In fact, there's a nice little battle going on just behind them as well. But did we just see a change of position? We did. It's going on here into turn 1. Benjamin King has tried to go all the way around the outside of Lynn, and he's going to have the inside for that long double apex of turn 2. He might be able to apply the pressure. He's going to be struggling for exit speed compared to Lynn, but he's then going to have the inside for turn 2. And in fact, he does get the move done before turn 3. Gets it done, holds on, and manages to make the Porsche stick the whole way round. And now he will be trying to break away from Lynn and chase after the back of Amir. Just under 13.5 minutes left to go, but it was a big bounce, and Lynn able to regain and now looks to the inside for the chicane. Can he do anything? He's not right there, and can't do it this time round. So King now really needs to try and take advantage and try and break away as best as he possibly can, see if he can find any kind of advantage. But now, King has managed to pull away, and he is just about holding on to it. They were way, way off their normal speeds last time around, although now King very much compromised, leaving the final chicane. They're going to be overlapping. This could be just a repeat, but in different mirrored positions. So Lynn going to try and go all the way around the outside of turn 1. Not quite able to do it. But he is going to be very close. Can he dive up the inside into turn 2? No, he can't. We saw a very brief yellow flag there for car number 19 down at the hairpin. Trying to work out which car that was. I think it was a 19 that I saw. I might be completely lying to you, and it wasn't 19 at all. I think probably the moment it's passed. I've obviously scrolled past the racing number. That was Sims, who we saw a little bit further back. Still, these two squabbling it out, and again down towards a second chicane. We now have Lynn who got a decent overlap this time. No, he can't. He just doesn't seem to be able to maintain that pace. after the curb. So whether or not he is having to brake significantly earlier than Ben, or he is just simply thinking to himself, I don't want an incident. I want to try and get the pass done clean. Can we get these people? Why can't I collect them? There we go. Scheckerman still with a drive-through penalty, running in 28th position. You know, for some reason, there's a bunch of cars in the middle of this field that I'm unable to get to. I feel like we do need to put on Ewan Skugel running in the 612 down in 26th place. Sorry, obviously did get involved in that incident at the beginning of the race, but Skugel always gets a lot of love in the chat, so I have to make sure I at least get him on the track, on the screen at least once. Hasn't really had many battles of note to keep an eye on. He's just kept his nose clean ever since the beginning after that big incident, and has managed to continue on, and he's still in the race. That is the main thing. He's still pushing forward, hasn't abandoned, and he has kept going. Right, Skyless versus Urbanech. 10.5 minutes left to go now. Oh, and there was a big mistake there from the BMW driver. Skyless having to get on the brakes after going through there. Super unsettled, and through goes Urbanech. He gets it done. In fact, we're going to jump back and we'll try and jump on the dash to get an idea of just how bad that was. So we're jumping on with him and continuing to push towards. They come down towards the chicane. He throws it in. He's already bouncing a lot there, and you could see just how unsettled the car was. Had to get on the brakes to maintain any kind of control of the vehicle, and so through goes Urbanech. Position taken away. And that is exactly the kind of mistake that Skyless did not want to make. It's so easy to do. You just think to yourself, I can just push that little bit harder. I just need to push that little bit harder to maintain a position. And then it all goes to pot when you push that little bit too hard. Right, up to the front. Southcott is now chasing after the back of Missak. Last time round, he was significantly quicker with a 128.2 versus a 128.9 from Missak. So maybe towards the end of this race, the Bentley just starting to lose a little bit of pace. Just under 9 minutes of the race left to go now. Schroeder has set the fastest lap this side. Actually, the only driver to get into the 127s. Only just into the 127s. But that obviously shows that the Porsche is still feeling good round here. Obviously, with no refueling, you do sometimes find that the Porsche's the handling does change over the space of the race. Obviously, having that front-mounted fuel tank, as you get lower and lower into the fuel, sometimes it can start to affect your steering quite a bit. Normally you would assume the less fuel you're running, the quicker you are, but I have known a few drivers have said to me in the past that actually they sometimes overfuel the Porsche just that little bit to give it a bit more weight over the front tyres, just to give you more mechanical grip. Southcott quicker again last time round. It was a lot closer in the lap times, but you can see it's getting a little bit raggedy from Missak. Is he really giving it absolutely everything? Is he driving on 11/10ths at the moment? There's only so long you can do that before an incident happens, and there it was. Missak, after such a strong race, finds himself rotated. I think he's actually stalled the car as well, struggling to get the thing moving. We'll stick with him to see how many positions he's lost. Jones has just gone past. He's creeping forward, but not very quickly. Maudsley Piccolo has gone by, manages to get the car restarted. A little bit of a rotation. I think Urbanech, and there's Skyless. So is Amir going to be able to get a run as well? But it was all looking so good, and here comes a big train of cars that are very much pushing hard. And so we've got Lynn and Benjamin King as well, who both these drivers were well up in the battles with Missak earlier on in the race, so they have the pace to be able to do it. But Southcott was applying the pressure, and I think what I was saying about just, you know, driving that little bit too hard definitely come to fruition, hasn't it? And so now the front end changes again. Southcott pole position, Schroeder second, and Jones finds himself back up on the podium. This is the battle for fourth place though. Maudsley versus Piccolo. Lovely Team Parker Racing Bentley making its way through the double apex of turn 2, swinging it through. He's a little bit wider, that tighter line being taken by Piccolo, obviously just trying to run in as close behind as possible. Luckily the Bentley punching a nice big hole through the air that Piccolo can use to his advantage, but this is the kind of place where the Bentley will have a bit of an advantage. Into the chicane. Oh, we're going to see him move up the inside. No, we're not. It would have had to be some pretty brave stuff, but as we were saying, the Bentley, although it's really good through the curbs, it can bite you back, as we saw with Misak, who now runs all the way back in 8th position. So we lost 7 places after that incident. I think it must have been a case of that once the car rotated round, I think he got on the brakes so hard to try and stop it going any further into the barriers, he ended up stalling the car, and then trying to get the thing started sometimes can be a right old faff. It's not always just a case of mashing the starter. You do sometimes have to cycle the ignition, then get the thing to go. You can't always start it in gear. You've got to make sure you're out of gear. If your steering wheel's upside down, suddenly you're going to find your paddles all in the wrong place, and you can end up going the wrong way up through the gears. All things that I've done in the past where I've had incidents, usually at the top of Eau Rouge. There's always something goes on there. Right, squabble going on a bit further back there. We'll keep an eye on this one as well. Just over 5 minutes left of the race. Athenstad versus Belscheit. This has been going on. Athenstad for Big Brain Racing, holding off car number 69, nice, of Belscheit. Flying pressure still. Nothing being given up by either of these drivers. Looks to the inside. Not going to be able to do anything under braking there, I don't think so. So they continue on. Less than 5 minutes to go now. Maudsley and Piccolo is definitely a close battle that is continuing on as well. But this is a little bit closer. We'll stick with our closest battle as we possibly can. In fact, we've got another one going on here. We've got Kazantis. Is that... No, that wasn't. That was... So that timing board was saying that was a battle, but it is not. That is Kazantis actually letting Skugel through. So Skugel obviously having a much better run. There was blue flags waving, but running in 26th place versus Kazantis running in 13th place in the Lexus for Gremsin Argonauts. Schroeder for Dynamic GT. Dynamic GT. Goodness gracious, my brain this evening. Apologies, I don't know entirely know why I decided to pronounce it the way I did, but there we go. Running in 2nd place, and in fact he has now set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:27.997. So still continuing to push forward, trying to gain that advantage over Southcott. Can he close the gap up? Southcott does have a back marker in front of him, but I don't imagine that'll close him up too much. Right, so a little bit further down, Piccolo still squabbling it out for 4th place. He needs to get this move done before Urbanich catches up to the back of him. If Urbanich manages to get onto the back of Piccolo, then that is going to release Maudsley to push forward and continue on. Oh, the 998! That was the 998 of King. We've just seen him off again. Let's go back. We'll try and jump on board with that one. So he was chasing after the back of Amir. He had Lynn right at the back of him. I think this must have been at that first chicane. Trying to see what happens here. He's barely decent distance away. Does get a decent run there on Amir, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to try and do anything. What happens here? Oh, and he gets a bump, and then the curbs really bite him. Then he gets spun round, a repeat of the incident we saw earlier, but in mirrored positions. And actually, King has decided to retire to the pits, obviously carrying too much damage to be continuing on. 2 minutes left of the race now. Definite shame to see King abandon the race. But obviously feeling like this late in the day, nothing he was going to be able to do to recover that, and so taking a bit of a hit. But that will be a big hit to his championship points. He'll be coming away from this with a severely hit championship. He was inside the top 10 drivers, so... But obviously not feeling being able to finish the race. These two super close between them. 1 minute and 38 seconds. They've basically got this lap and one more to go after this. Just trying to see where our leader is, just down at the hairpin at the moment. So he will cross the line. And he should have one more. It might actually be a couple more laps to go, actually, depending on when he crosses the line. The timer will go to 0, and we'll have to wait and see. It might click down. Right. So this battling continuing on. Maudsley just about holding off Piccolo. Urbanech is slowly reeling them in. These two are definitely slowing themselves down. Southcott running in pole position still. Then we've got Schroeder running in second, and then Jones running in third. The main squabble really continuing on, though, is this one. And this is going to be their final chance to get something done. Are we going to see Piccolo throw something crazy up the inside, really throw everything to the wall and hope it sticks? Are we going to see 11/10 racing again? We saw, obviously, earlier on, we saw it was one of the Bentleys of Missack, who's now running all the way down in 10th place. We saw him earlier on, just pushing that a little bit too hard here. Are these drivers going to try and do something crazy as they go through? They know they cannot afford to give the tiniest amount of space. But for now, Maudsley is holding on to it. He's just managing to pull away that little bit as well. I think maybe he went for a big, brave last lap through that first chicane and absolutely went for it, trying to hold on to the position. And we've got battles going on further down the field as well. We are going to have to probably cut away to our actual leaders in a minute, as coming through the final chicane is our leaders. So Chris Southcott comes towards the line, and he'll be very pleased with this. Pole position here in Tier 2, followed by Schroeder in the Porsche, who's coming towards the line just now as well. A little bit further back, then we've got Jones. We will jump back to this little battle. The blue dust washing across the circuit already. So the blue smoke, what am I about dust? These three, I thought we were going to see them absolutely toe-to-toe all the way to the line, but it has opened up just a little bit. So a bit further back, we've got Jokic, Sims and Ordelman all battling it out, coming towards the line. Only a few corners left to go, and we'll have to see if there's any kind of big shake-up. It's only going to take one mistake to see positions change. To be fair, it might be something into this final chicane. It does look like Jokic has slowed significantly. Are we going to be able to see something here? Is it a case of maybe he got his fueling wrong, because suddenly the car has slowed a lot? Maybe just a bit of a bad line that time round, I'm not sure. But no, they managed to all hold on to their respective positions for now. And that is the bulk of cars. Oh, big collision after the race. That will almost certainly be looked into. We always try and avoid incidents post-race. You never know if someone is holding onto the steering wheel still, what kind of incident that might cause. But there we go. Everyone has crossed the line. So in just a moment, we'll be able to see the actual results. Let's jump to them. Right. Timetables. Right, let's run through. So Southcott in pole position. Schroeder second. Jones third. Maudsley fourth. Piccolo fifth. Urbanech sixth. Skyler seventh. Amir in eighth. Lynn ninth. Missack 10th. 11th was Lima. Kazantis in 12th. Milden 13th. Dorr in 14th. And Belscheit in 15th place. Let's continue on down. Athenstad 16th, Zoricic 17th, Jokic 18th, Sims 19th, Alderman 20th, Lisiu in 21st, Zyle in 22nd, Zapata 23rd, Braun 24th, and Skugel recovers up to 25th position, and Lafloche is our last card across the line in 26th place. Quite a few retirements this time round. Right, let's see if we can get... Oh, why hasn't it saved? It hasn't saved lap 1. I haven't got lap 1 to show you. I'm so... Why on earth has it done that? I am going to have to change some settings, because I really thought we should have had that. and we don't for some reason. Should have had that, but we don't. So I will have to dig in and watch some replays of other drivers to see what has gone on there, because that is a bit of a shame that I haven't got that info for you. I do apologise. I was really hoping we were going to be able to grab that bit of info, but obviously not this time round. Right, let's see if anyone is feeling brave enough to pop in for a chat. It's always nice when they do, but sometimes they don't. They don't fancy it, and that's fine. We understand. Oof, I think I might be having some computer issues here, ladies and gentlemen, because I am having some slight issues navigating all of this. Is anyone coming in for a chat? Let's have a look and see if anyone's brave enough. Not looking like we're going to get any post-race interviews, which is a bit of a shame, really. But there we go. Southcott came across the line in first place, Schroeder second, and Jones third. So very much continuing domination of the championship is Mr. Jones. But absolutely fantastic stuff. Hang on here. I'm getting some stuff. Okay. No, absolutely fine. Okay, right. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Again, this was a Tier 2 Tuesday. I have been Tim360 Lunn. Obviously, this is Season 17. This was Round 4. Big shout out to all our Patreon members who are the blood, sweat and tears of Apex Online Racing, keeping us alive and keeping us going. They are our only source of sponsorship these days, so it's massively appreciated. If you fancy getting involved in such a way, check the description below this stream and obviously below the VOD once it is up. All information on the Patreon will be there. Any support is appreciated. If you are not feeling like you fancy making a monetary contribution, but you want to get involved with us anyway, that is absolutely fine. There is no issue with that whatsoever. Links to the Discord are beneath us, or go to apexonline.racing where you can see all the racing that takes part. You can get involved, you can see all of the results, absolutely everything. You can look at incident reports, all sorts of things. So it has been a wonderful race. Sadly, it doesn't appear that anyone is feeling quite brave enough to come in for a chinwag this evening, but we understand that does happen from time to time. But thank you ever so much for joining this evening. It has been absolutely fantastic, and we will see you next time round, same time, same place, Apex Online Racing.